We, Bezras Hashem, will make a siyum today on Shaar Beis Parak Yud Zayin. And then I just want to say this, on Sunday, Bezras Hashem will have a shiur, and then on Thursday, obviously, we can't have a shiur. See, the Sunday would be nice. Sarah Pesach would be nice to finish days before Purim, so maybe we'll just finish Yud Zayin now and try on Sunday to do Parak Yud Ches and see how that goes. I don't want to rush. I don't want to rush, but still like it. But we're in the second part of the Hagah of Parak Yud Zayin, and where he says, "V'zeu inyan hakosuv haloich v'karasa ba'oznei Yerushalayim." Right? Everyone's familiar. Koy Amar Hashem. Zacharti lo chesed nerayich, chesed. Zacharti lo chesed nerayich, avas v'osayich, lechtech acharei b'midbar, ba'eretz le'zerua. This is the Navi Yirmiyahu in the name of Hashem, praising the Jewish people. But the question here is, before you get into the whole praise, Haloich, Hashem said, Haloch v'karasa ba'oznei Yerushalayim. Go speak to the ears of Jerusalem. What are the ears of Jerusalem? Oznei Yerushalayim, Oznei B'nei Yerushalayim, Oznei B'nei Yisrael, Oznei Klal Yisrael. But Oznei Yerushalayim is an interesting expression. Zacharti lach, and you should tell the Oznei Yerushalayim, Zacharti lach chesed nerayich lechtech acharei b'rina. So he says, Kina hakosuv Klal Yisrael b'shem Yerushalayim, that sometimes Klal Yisrael is called Yerushalayim. So the nickname for Klal Yisrael is Yerushalayim. Why? Right here. Aloich v'karasa ba'oznei Yerushalayim. Why? Because there's something special about Yerushalayim. What's special about Yerushalayim is Kihi Knessis Klal Yisrael. That's where the ingathering of Klal Yisrael happens. Sheba'aloisam lirois pnei ha'adam Hashem beregel. There's this idea of aliyah beregel. Like, okay, we needed to find a place, and Yerushalayim was more central than Tel Aviv. There's an idea of all of Klal Yisrael coming to Yerushalayim. You see, we need to understand Oil Regel. What was the real purpose of Oil Regel? So the Pashup Pshat is Laman Tilmad L'Yiroi, see that everyone should come and see Yerushalayim, come and see the Makkah Mikdash, come bring a carbon, whatever they were doing. But there's a deeper thing here that everyone should just come. Just come. You see this by Hakel. Everyone should come and be together as Klal Yisrael. So what it really was like in the Geder of Ilu Amanu Lifnei Har Sinai v'lo nasan lanu es haTorah dayenu. So the idea of coming together in Yerushalayim created a matzav which is called Klal Yisrael. So Klal Yisrael, this was the case of Klal Yisrael. Everybody has to come. Ba'aloisam lerois pnei adon Hashem beregel v'sham kiblu Klal Yisrael shefa Torah kedusha v'yira. And by coming, just by being there, you got to be there, right? So just by being there in Yerushalayim, by Aliyas Haregel, everyone was makabel shefa Torah kedusha yira kol echad shirish achizas nishmasay. Very important. Everybody was makabel, but everybody was makabel something different. Everyone was makabel lefi shirish achizas nishmasay, according to the source and the grasp of their particular neshama. Miknesses Yisrael, where were they makabel from? They were makabel from Knesses Yisrael. So let's get our terms right. This is Klal Yisrael. This is Knesses Yisrael. Knesses Yisrael by Amaratzim is used interchangeably with Klal Yisrael. It's a completely different idea. Not completely, but I mean it's a related idea, but it's not Klal Yisrael. Klal Yisrael means when the Bnei Yisrael, another term, come together to form a klal, so then we're Klal Yisrael. Then imagine like now we're getting our energy from something right on top of us, which is in the Shemayim called Knesses Yisrael. Knesses Yisrael is the simultaneous ingatherings of all the neshamas of Klal Yisrael. Here's the shirish. So it's like being in some kind of a machine where maybe it's wireless, but you're getting zapped and giving zapped. There's this energy going from top to bottom. You scientists will tell me what machine that might be. You can imagine just like Star Trek, beam me up, Scotty. Like there's something, so here's the Knesset Yisrael, here's the Klal Yisrael. And what's important about the Knesset Yisrael is that is our shoyrish. But Nikras Yerushalayim Shel Mala, this is the definition of Yerushalayim Shel Mala, Zeh Shekasav Avas Kluloi Secha, Ratzleimer Klilus. Klilus, like Klilus Secha can mean a lot of things like Kala, Tachlis. What's a Kala, by the way? What is Kala? What does the word mean? Chassan and Kala. What's a Kala? Completion. Can't hear. Completion. Doesn't mean a bride. Chassan v'kalasai. See? Chassan v'kalasai. That which completes him or completes this neshama.
What's chassan mean?
That's chassan probably means chassan, but chassan means like chassan bracious, right? Chassan Torah. So chassan means that you're being omed chassan b'yom chupasei. You're being omed now for a certain hashlama, and this is the kala. The Harei HaMekudeshesli makes the kala. So that's the kluloi sayich. So the same word, kol, klal, kala, tachlis, klilas yoifi, kliloi secha. What else? Bechlal. What else? So Klal Yisrael and kala, it's all the same thing. But what we're talking about is Klal Yisrael is down here. Shirish HaNeshama is here. Now, what's so important about this and so complicated but beautiful about this is that you have this one Yerushalayim Shamala, Yerushalayim Shalmata, which is the Neshama Klali of Klal Yisrael, which is giving the Shirish, which is giving the energy to the Yerushalayim Shalmata. But you also have within that Kol Echad Lefi Shirish Achizas Nishmasei B'Knesset Yisrael. There's also a million individual wires going on up there, a million individual Sharshei HaNeshama, which are connecting to me. And I'm different than my son and my wife, and there's a different Sharish Neshama. So what's important here is that the Bnei Yisrael has one Sharish Neshama, which is different than the Sharish Neshama of all the Goyim, let's say, which is found in Yerushalayim, but it's not by accident in Yerushalayim. Not just that happens to be the cool place, the hangout place for the Sharish HaNeshama. That's not what it is. It's Yerushalayim is the source of the whole world, right? Like Yerushalayim has the Eved HaShasiyah, B'Shemisham, Shasas, Kol Oilam Kulai. Everything was created from... Exactly, Yerushalayim. But why Bo? Why there? Because that's the Mako. That's the place, right?
That's the portal.
Adam Arishain...
wormhole.
Right. Adam Arishain was created there. It's not Gan Eden. Gan Eden, I don't know where Gan Eden is, Iraq. But it's not. He was created there, and then when he was expelled, and I want to get back to Adam Arishain in a minute before we end this pair. When he was expelled, he and she were expelled from Gan Eden. The pasuk says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu sent them from Gan Eden and sent them El Hamakim Asher Lukach Misham. It's the lashon of the pasuk. So Rashi says the Makam HaMikdash. Because he was created in the Adam and Chava were created in the Makam HaMikdash. So go back to the Makam HaMikdash. Gan Eden was a place on the side, Kilu, but go back to the Makam HaMikdash. So it's not in Gan Eden where we have this, beam from Yerushalayim Shom. There's no Gan Eden. Well, there is a Gan Eden in Gan Eden Atachim, but it means something different. But there's not to confuse things. There's the Yerushalayim Shabbal Yerushalayim. That's the Bria. That's the Bria. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Bria in the sense of Atzilus, Bria, Yitzira, Asiya. So that's the Bria, and if that's the Bria, that's where everything's coming from. Gam B'chlal v'gam B'frat. Everybody with me on this? Gam B'chlal v'gam B'frat. So we went to Yerushalayim. Two things happened when we were Oila Regel. Number one is we connected back to the land, which was the source of the whole Bria. That's what you do when you go to the Kaisel, or if you are inclined to the Makam HaMikdash. That's what you're connecting to the place of the Bria So'ilam. That's what's going on. That's what Yerushalayim is. That's specifically the Eved HaShasiyah, dome of the rock, yeah? The rock. assuming that's the rock. But the rock, that's what the dome's all about. That rock is the Makom Hashasiyah, belongs to the source of the world. But in that is the pratim HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because in Bria, going for the world of Yetzirah, all of those neshamas that's Yerushalayim Shobala. What's happening there is all of those neshamas are broken up into millions of neshamas for all future generations, and that would be us. We need to find our own Shorish HaNeshama there, which is tricky. It's a bit tricky to find your Shorish HaNeshama, which we will learn about. V'zeu inyan Shechina, this is what the Shechina means, HaNiskar B'chol Makom. Whenever you see the word Shechina, this is what it means. What? Pirush HaPashat Shel Shechina Haynu Kvios Dira. Shechina means I'm the new Shachain on the block. Shechina. K'maimarim Zal.
So that's Knesset.
That's the Knesset Yisrael meeting the Klal Yisrael. When Hashem says, I want to find a dira b'tachtonim, miyoyim shabara kadosh baruch hu elama nisave sheyeloi dira b'tachtonim. I've got my Yerushalayim Shalmala. I don't need you guys for this. What I need you for is to create a Yerushalayim Shalmata, so there's a receptor of the Yerushalayim Shalmala. That is Shechina. Iker kviras dirasai. Iker kviras dirasai. Where are you going to live? Hashem lives in Yerushalayim. The Shechina lives in Yerushalayim. Iker kvias dirasai yisbarach shmai haya b'Yerushalayim. Look. He's galus kedushasai b'li he's lapshus levushim. Now here we're getting cool. He's galus. Look inside here. Where is it? He's galus. What's Yerushalayim? He's galus kedushasai b'li he's lapshus levushim. Everyone's trusting me. What does it mean? HaKadosh Baruch Hu, there's a giloi in Yerushalayim of his kedusha. Kedusha revealed, but there's no levush. There's no levush.
Or manifest.
What's a levush?
Mechitza?
No, levush. You see, let's do the next sentence, because otherwise I'll get carried away. V'husha amru chazal b'Shabbos kuf mem hey amud beis. The Gemara says in Shabbos kuf mem hey amud beis. The amri inshi. People say, b'maseh shamai b'loi maseh toitvai. That people say when I'm home, my name is good enough. When I go out of town, I need to dress the part. Klomar, when you're at home, you don't have to put on like if you're with your wife and your children, you don't have to put on your tie and your suit and everything to be choshev. Shammai, I'm dad. The relationship is clear, but b'loi masa, when you're not at home, teitvai, that's when you have to put on your uniform. So I am. So it's Hamish. Yerushalayim is Hamish. You see, I once heard a hesped of a very chashuv person in America, Rosh Yeshiva. So the hesped, the son said that he says the son was 60. So the son said, I have to say, I never saw my father without a hat and jacket on. I thought to myself, wow, is that sad? That hit me as so sad. He was saying it like everyone was like, whoa, wow, what a tzaddik. What's the tzaddik here? That you don't play chess with your kids, or you do with your hat and jacket on, where's the connection? I'm just there's got to be a connection. Feel free to disagree with me. I found the hesped to be annoying.
Moshe Weiss's question to you.
That's right. Okay, there's an Indian of kavod at Sibur. There's an Indian of kavod of you're going to see an Adam Chashiv. You dress up. There's no question about it. But the point is that there's a point of Hamishkeit. So what's so interesting is Yerushalayim is Hamish. Those that are hanging around the Shechina, they're Hamish. Also HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Hamish there. So there's a certain so that's my dira b'tachtonim. So it's different than when I'm going outside. So what this means in the simple pshat, but I want to get into this a drop. What this means in the simple pshat is something we all need to know, that the Bechlal, like, this is because somebody said to me a few days ago that a woman, she said that she's in a lot of tsar because she felt much closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu when she lived in Chutz La'aretz than she does here. So it's a little bit of a, woman thing to say. But it's like sensitive, I'm just saying, very, very sensitive. She said, like, it was different relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So I said to her, look, the relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu and Chutz La'aretz is one thing, and the relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu and Eretz Yisrael is a different thing. So you can't compare this relationship to that relationship, two different things completely. And, it's not for nothing sometimes at Eretz Yisrael, Niknas b'Yisurim, and Eretz Yisrael, the good way to put it, and I think these are the words that he's using, is ein levush. Ein levush. On the one hand, like, it's Hamish, God's in his pajamas. It's Hamish.
It's a local call.
It's local. On the other hand, it's much more real. And it's much more tangible, real. There's no levushim.
No makeup.
Yeah. There's no levushim there. So no levushim can be more midas hadin, it can be more midas hachesed, but everything is stronger.
More direct.
It's stronger, yeah. It's a much stronger thing. Like you're bebeis hamelach, you're bepalchin shemelach. So your relationship is different. You're used to one relationship for 50 years. Now you have another relationship, and it's a different relationship. In a way, it's a harder relationship. In a way, it's a closer relationship. This is not pashut. Everyone, whether you can put your finger on it or not, everybody who's lived in Chutz La'aretz and lived here, and if you're hearing what I'm saying, I presume that's true of everybody. Everybody has somehow worked out that there's a different relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's just different. I think once you can get past it and get into it, it's the most beautiful thing in the world. But it's not just about like the Zionist dream or Tzahal protecting us. There's something different. There's a different relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu here. So, and that's called, let me look through the words again, Hisgalus Kedushasai Beli Hislabshus Levushin. There's no levush here, no kapota. This is no melech. You're going into the melech's living room, no crown, no big day malchus. It's a different thing. Hamish. I want to show you two things, but let me just introduce the question quickly here. We have a sharish neshama, meaning halavai would understand. You want to understand your goof, you go to the doctor. You want to understand your nefesh, you go to a therapist. You want to understand your ruach, you go to a rabbi. Because ruach is where the makom of Bechir Chavshis is, and the makom of Taiva. You want to understand your neshama? I don't know, maybe you go to a Hasidic Rebbe, but I don't know how to understand a neshama. It's guesswork, as far as I know. You want to understand Chaya Yechida? Reb Tzadok says, I can't understand it. We know what it is, but I don't understand it. So what good is it? What good is it to know that there's a sharish haneshama if we have no way to understand what our sharish neshama is? If we would know what our sharish haneshama is, we would know exactly how to decide the certain things in life. But I just want to show you two things here. Sharish haneshama. First of all, Reb Tzadok, Tzidkas HaTzadik. This, by the way, I do my book sales here. This is a beautiful new edition of Tzidkas HaTzadik. Reb Tzadok, and the beauty is that it has a beer on the bottom, first in history. But he says here, in Reish Samech Beis, it's at the very end, second to the last chapter, Reish Samech Gimel rather, he says as follows. Listen carefully because it's just perfectly parallel with what we're saying. Hamachshava dibur u'maisa de Torah mitzvahs heim levushay kavod la'adam. What are levushim? What are the levushim of a person? So, what's the spiritual jacket and tie. So the answer is machshava. That sounds machshava, dibur, umaisa, the Torah mitzvahs. The mani mechabdusa, those are the levushim, meaning a levush is external. Nobody's saying we shouldn't do Torah mitzvahs and machshava tova, but that's external to the neshama. As I said, there's nefesh, there's ruach, there's neshama, shorish neshama. Ubemasai shamai, but when I'm at home, just go by name. Hainu b'makom shorish hanefesh, exactly what the Nefesh Hachaim saying. If you would be able to climb to the place of shorish hanefesh, hakavod hu kefi etzem mailas hanefesh. It's not what I do, it's who I am at that place. Ubaloi masai, but if you're not at home, hainu ba'olam hazeh. B'chein b'gan eden, toisvai. Hakavod kefi alavushim de machshava dibur u'maisa b'Torah u'mitzvahs shemisagel. So do you understand? There's no mitzvahs in Shemayim. Kivan shadam meis nasa pater min mitzvahs. No mitzvahs. That's why there's a loyeg l'rosh when you go to a Beis HaKvaros. Right? We can do mitzvahs. Mesim can't do mitzvahs. Why not? It's a good thing. Mitzvahs are a good thing. It's a levush. It doesn't make any sense to have levushim in an olam ha'emes. In Neshama is that much closer. There's no levushim. So all you're talking about is the person himself. You're left with your neshama. That's what you're left with. You're left with your neshama. It's not a bad thing to, dying, at the right time is okay. You're just shedding a goof. But you're shedding the levush. It's a burden. It becomes burdensome. You come home and take off your jacket. Yes, so you come to Shemayim. It's not about Torah mitzvahs, but the good part is, or the good part, the easy part is not about Torah mitzvahs. Oh, I don't have to put on tefillin today, says this neshama. However, what's left must be very good. What's left must be very, very good. So he says here, see, even Gan Eden, Reb Tzadok says earlier, you see that Adam Arishon Koydem Achet had no levush. And when they did a chet, Adam and Chava did a chet, so Vayaslam Kosnois, or Hashem had to make them levushim. Not because it was cold and they had to protect themselves from the thorn in the thicket, but the Koitz V'Dardar was a different klala. They needed Kosnois means that it's no longer about what you are be'etzem, it's about what you're doing now. That was the paradigm shift. Yeah?
Your last point, it's not what your essence is, but what you're doing. What is it?
It's not what you do, it's what you are. And when you're not in touch with what you are, meaning expelled from Gan Eden, or for that matter in this world, which Chazal give a mashal to being out of town for the neshama. Neshama's out of town. So then it's a lot about what you do. You see, you come to a place where nobody knows you.
I mean, that's the only path back to who you are.
Right. You obviously can't stop with that. but you need a levush. Olam hazeh requires a levush. But what's important here is this. What's important is that it would be very cool to get in touch with the Shorish HaNeshama. See, if you could do this for people, if you can help them find their Shorish HaNeshama, you're saving their whole life. But how do you do it? What's the Shorish HaNeshama? Now, this is not about the levushim. That's already like, telling somebody what to wear. So you go to a posek and it tells you, you should wrap your tefillin this way, wrap your tefillin that way. I'm not diminishing its importance at all. I wear tefillin every single day, Baruch Hashem. I'm all for it. But what I'm saying is that these things, the levushim of tefillin, of which hashkacha you use, those are levushim. They don't necessarily define who I am and what I am, right? They're not really a definition of my essence. So it's only after, without that levush. That, taking off that levush, is the part. There's very little creativity or individuality allowed for a person when it comes to halacha. Isn't that true? What's the individuality here? People are trying, like they get to stay, sterling silver boxes for their tefillin, and this is an expression of me. That people do all kinds of cool things to try to express themselves religiously, but ba'atzem, like we're all doing pretty much the same thing. Like, you can't express your creativity by eating rabbanut. That's just who I am. doesn't work. Yeah, you have to, so maybe a little bit like, am I Hasidish, am I Litvish, am I Sephardi, maybe that's a little bit, but that's already, that's maybe one step deeper in, but where is the makom for individuality and creativity? The answer is, that's the tchum, not of the nefesh, which is halacha, it's the tchum of the neshama, and shorish ha-neshama, that's the tchum for individuality. How do you find it, and how does it manifest itself? So I started reading a few days ago to you the Gra, but we never did it, and I don't want to finish Yud Zayin without reading this Gra. So the Vilna Gaon in Mishlei, Parag Gimel, Pasuk Lamed Beis. No. Take it back. So we'll get to that in a second. Mishlei Tezayin, Pasuk Daled. Pasuk says, "Kol po'al Hashem lema'anehu v'gam rasha liyoim ra." Maybe we'll get into the pasuk, but I just want to read you this gra. The gra says, "L'chol adam v'adam," lashon of the gra. L'chol adam v'adam yesh lo derech bifnei atzmai leilech boy. Every single individual has a particular path that he or she needs to take. I can't walk on your path, you can't walk on my path. Ki ein daitam doime zeh lezeh, ein partzufeim doimim zeh lezeh. We're different, we're created different, and the reason we're created different is because we have a different derech to walk on. Ve'ein teva shnei bnei adam shava. I don't think, or it's like you're quoting the appropriate pasuk, because chanoich l'naro pidarkoi means something a little bit different. What that means is that, look, if you're not being mat'im, the chinuch, to this child, so it's not going to work. The chinuch is not going to take. Here's a different story. Different nekuda, there's a different nuance, that this kid who's got a different derech is not supposed to be the same as somebody else. It's a different nekuda in the normal understanding, the regular understanding of chanech l'naro pidarkei. You're good with math, so we're gonna give you sort of a more mathematical program. You're better with visual things, we'll give you more of a visual program. Chanech l'naro pidarkei. I'm not saying that that's really what it means, but that's the way it's used. And that's what everybody likes to pay lip service to, but nobody does that. I've never yet found a school that's Chanoch L'Naro Pidarko, even though it's in the masthead and the logo of every single school. We give each child individual attention. I don't know why they write that. They don't. they don't. It's not true. But that's a different.
As Kodesh says, we don't know how to do it anymore.
Kodesh has a whole hakdama about this, but that's not the nakuda that we're talking about. A very chashuv Rav told me once that he thinks that the ikar of a school is like everybody comes into the school like different. They have different families, different makeup, different backgrounds, different countries that they came from in Europe. And our job is to get everybody to be the same. I think it's like absolutely the worst thing I ever heard in my life. It's horrible. But it's also, that's what he said. Like we got to knock that garbage out of this, and just get everybody to be exactly the same. That's melting pot. Yeah, the melting pot. But that's what at least a melting pot, everyone becomes one. Here they become the same.
This is conformism.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it Mao Zedong? I don't know who's. I don't know who came up with this, but it's certainly not Judaism. That's for sure.
Actually,
but,
it's a little bit like ways. Everybody puts in a different question. Everybody gets a different answer.
Okay, that's what it's supposed to be. But I'm saying that it's not our system.
Each one gets an answer that in response to his question.
And based on where you are. So here we're saying something that it's meant to be exactly the opposite as this guy said. It's meant to be that everybody is different, because otherwise, like Rashi says on that Gemara, "Ein partzufeim doimos," if Hashem would make two people exactly the same, so what's the point of making one of them as extra? And there's no extras here. You don't need two people to do the same thing. You know, why should I be like you? You be like me. You see, again, I want to emphasize this. We pay lip service to this, but we don't really believe it. I'm telling you, you got to really. But this is the Vilna Gaon, and he tells us why we don't believe it. Ve'ein teva shnei bnei adam shavu kishahayu. Now here's so gewaldic. Kishahayu neviim, history lesson. There used to be neviim, Yeshayahu, Yirmiyahu, neviim. Hayu holchim eitzel neviim. People would go to the navi, lidroishas Hashem. Where does it say that by? Rivka. So Rivka wanted to understand when she went to the navi. She wanted about what is not what's going on with my pregnancy. You go to an obstetrician. What did she want to know? She wanted to know what is the shurish haneshama of these children. Something is they're so different. What is their shurish haneshama? That's what you go to a navi for. That's what you go to a shem behavior for. You want to have that nevuah. So haya navi oimer. So the navi would tend to say, you get an audience with the navi. In other words, you make an appointment with the navi.
So what if he tells you you have an evil neshama?
Why? Who? Not evil. Use it differently. Everybody has the right to. Well, I like Asa. Haya navi oimer al pi mishpat hanevuah. So the Navi would say by the Mishpat HaNevuah, Darkoi asher yelech by lefi sharish nishmasai lefi tava gufa. So don't you wish you had that service? You understand something like David had his personal Navi, Nasan Navi. So it was like a personal trainer, a spiritual trainer. It's coach. That's what it was. Yeah, I have a Navi. You know, when I was a rabbi in Buffalo, so I didn't have any people in my Kehillah. So what I used to do is I just went around from office to office, Reform Jews, and I used to learn with them. Let me learn with you for a half an hour a week. You're a vice president of the federation. You should know a little bit about Judaism. Let me learn with you. And people bought into it. So they did it. So I didn't, no price, no anything, learn anything on. And I used to learn with all these Reform guys, and it became Chabur. That's how I built the Kehillah. It was hard work. I was young, but that's what I did every hour by hour. That's what I did. But I remember I used to meet with this very, very wealthy man, and he said to me, I remember asking me, he says, you learn with this one, you learn with that one, you go here, you go there, you have a shul, He said, how much would it cost me to get my own rabbi? It's like, you know what, I'm going to fly United, I'm going to take the bus, I have to, say, share, I have my own rabbi. So
Ron Perlman has that on Upper East Side. He has a minion in his house, and he
bought a rabbi.
He's living in the community.
I don't know Ron, I'd like to, but I explained to he was coming from a good place, but I explained to this guy that you're missing the whole, you don't hire a rabbi like you do your cook, your butler, your driver, like the rabbi's supposed to tell you what to do. You're kind of missing the whole.
You were offering him time sharing, and he wanted to buy the whole.
He wanted to buy the whole thing, right? It was going to fly United like everybody else. You got to get your own jet. But it was just like his concept was interesting. But David HaMelech had a Nasan Navi, had a personal Navi, as did many. Shmuel Navi was a personal Navi. So besides for them, the famous nevuahs of saying there's going to be a Chorban Beis HaMikdash, there's going to be a Binyan Beis HaMikdash, or there's such a thing as the Meiser Merkava, the main day-to-day, day-by-day, hour-by-hour, 9-to-5 job of the Navi, Tomer Dvorah Navi was sitting under a tree, and she was giving Eitzah. And her Eitzah was, what she was able to see with nevuah, was the Sherish Neshama of every single Yid. Beautiful. And once she saw the Sharish Neshama, a person knows what to do. That's your place. This is what you should do. How did that manifest itself? Be a teacher, be a sefer, be a singer, be a doctor. I don't know. I don't know what it was, but I just know that a lot of people out there are doing things. You see, I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not a Navi. I have no idea what a person's sharish neshama is. But what you can know is whatever it is, you're not hitting it. Like people are being wasted, and people are doing what everybody else is doing, and they're not playing into their sharish neshama. What's your sharish neshama? Further afield, I don't know. But you have to have some kind of a gilui from Shemaim. But he says, sometimes, if you're lucky, the Ramban says at the beginning of Bamidbar, in the Hakdama, he says that during the time of Moshe Rabbeinu, every Jew had the opportunity to spend a second with Moshe Rabbeinu. You're talking about a few million people and a busy man. Yeah.
He counted it.
Did you ever see that's where he says that's when the Ramban says it. But it wasn't just that he counted them. He second. Bav Rebbe. You ever see by the Ger Rebbe on Yom Tov? So thousands and thousands of people come, and the Rebbe sits there. Did you ever see this? Yes. Run by. If you can't run, if you're over 90, they let you jog. Run by. It's like that's it. I think the Rebbe sits there like a million people. I don't know how many people come there. 50,000 people. They just run by. Just Shalom Aleichem. That's the way it goes. Just run. It's an interesting thing to see. Lubavitch Rebbe was a slow-moving machine, like Reb Chaim, a different thing. But a lot of people. So Moshe Rabbeinu saw everybody for a second. Why? What was the point? Nice to meet you. I'm Moshe. I'm your leader. What is the point? The point is that he told everyone their shorish haneshama in a second. That was the nevuah. This is bigger than getting the Torah. This is the biggest thing that we had from Moshe Rabbeinu. That's what the Goin says. Ahaya navi oimer al pi mishvat nevuah darkoi asher yelech boi lefi shorish nishmasai ulefi teva gufay. This is what you should do.
So even how your group interacted with your neshama.
Everything. I feel al pi teva gufay. V'zeu la'adam archei leiv. Right? We say on Yom Tov, on Rosh Hashanah. Li'adam archei leiv. Umei Hashem man heloshin. A person can prepare their leiv to be makabel. What is it that I should do? But la'Hashem man heloshin. That's the Navi. Hashem ma'aneh lashon. That's the Navi. La'adam archilev shaloi lo yahaya rak laroich levavai lidrosh es Hashem, like Rivka came to be darish as Hashem b'chol levavai u'ma haya ma'aneh lashon ayidei Navi eich yisnaheg. Says the Vilna Gaon, and here we change the tone to Tisha B'av. Kishabat la nevuah. What do we do when there's no nevuah? We're walking around. What's our job? Tell me what our job is. What's my job description? I'm walking around here. You hired me. What's my job? So the Goin says, all is not lost. Haisa Ruach HaKodesh b'Yisrael. There was still some Ruach HaKodesh. And somehow or another through Ruach HaKodesh, which is not nevuah. Nevuah is Hashem talking through this person. That's what the word nevuah means. Nevuah means Dvar Hashem Elai Lemor. Ko Yamar Hashem. That's nevuah. Ruach HaKodesh is me talking to you, or you talking to me, but I'm not talking from my gut. I'm not talking from my seichel. I'm talking from my ruach. Remember, nefesh, ruach, neshama.
Is that what the Chosek means?
You got me. So there's Ruach HaKodesh. Listen to the Gra. Yeah, he didn't go to the Chosek. The Ruach HaKodesh, yesh l'chol adam ve'adam. Ruach HaKodesh, yesh l'chol adam ve'adam. Every person has Ruach HaKodesh. Ach, and here's the Gra butt. Here's the butt of the Gra. Ashrei adam lo yachshev Hashem lo avayin ve'ein beruchai remiyah. The problem is, this is the problem, that your Ruach, if you can get in touch with your Ruach, which we should be able to do because we've been learning about it for a half a year here, if you can get in touch with your Ruach, we're not even talking about your Neshama, you have to make sure that the Ruach is clean, ve'ein beruchai remiyah. And what this means is that a person, like all the Svarim say, about the Musar Svarim say, the Chassidish Svarim say, a person's ruach will go with your negias. It'll go where it's more convenient, cognitive dissonance. I will make my ruach work to make it work for my goof. This is what I feel is my sharish neshama. I need to marry a shiksa. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that. It's not funny, really, but I hear it all the time. I have to do what my ruach is telling me to do. It's ruach shtus. Meaning ruach, it's gaiva. Ein beruchai, remia. So yes, we have ruach hakodesh, but how can you cleanse? How can you tap into the ruach hakodesh? Right? Vayipach ba'apav nishmas chaim. How do you connect? That's the ruach. Don't forget, is the connector, the segue between the neshama and the goof and the nefesh. So how do you connect into it? Well, first make sure that it's connected and it's clean. Make sure it's clean. She'ein beruchai shum doifi. Ki l'chol darchei ish zoch be'einav awal v'toichan ruchais Hashem. V'zehu rabbois machshavos. This is what the pasuk means. Rabbois machshavos b'levish. Atzas Hashem hisakum. Aval. Another but. Mi yoimar zachisi libi. Zakisi libi, probably the word is. Who can say that my leiv is zach? Yes, he's saying, Avo, mi yoimar zachisi libi. It's a pasuk in Tehillim, by the way. Mi yoimar zachisi libi, Perek Yutes. She'ein beruchi remiya. Who can make that comment? Ve'ein tivoi mis'ave v'noite chutz midvar ritzoni yisrael. And here's the secret to the whole thing. That the Ruach works, I believe. We don't have a Navi. We have Ruach HaKodesh. We don't have too many Chayzim Lublins. So, okay, everybody has Ruach HaKodesh. You don't have to be the Chayzim. Why? Because everybody can be Zaychet to this. It's not a gift from Hashem. Everybody has it automatically, built in. It's built in. How does it work? If it's being motivated by the Ratzon Hashem and not motivated by the Ratzon Haguf. And this is so simple but so vital, because this is the ikar of being a Torah Jew. That the ruach is the place of, ruach as opposed to domains. Ruach is the place which is causing movement. It's motivating me. It's making me move. It's making me go. This is what I want to do. My ambition is in the ruach. What's driving the ambition? You can say, well, he's a very ambitious young man. But what's driving the ambition? It's not impressive if it's just being driven by taiva. What's so impressive about that? People like it.
Is it misave lashon taiva or lashon ibud?
Taiva.
Taiva.
So if my ruach is all about, ruach, right? If my ruach, my ambition is all about doing the Ratzon Hashem, then I'm able to tap into Ruach HaKodesh. Then my Ruach becomes Ruach HaKodesh. What's important about having Ruach HaKodesh? Not that you could be clairvoyant and tell people where they lost their watch. The idea of Ruach HaKodesh is to be able to tap into, if nothing else, your own Sharish HaNeshama. And if you could tap into your own Sharish HaNeshama, so that is, and let me just review the whole thing now that we're done, that's the difference between Levushim and Atzmai. Because the Levushim, that's relatively easy. This is what you should wear, this is what you should do, this is how we do it over here, this is the minhag. Yafet. It's a chashuv. But I'm looking to tap in within that to the Sharish Mind, Sharish Hashem. I don't know what to do. It's very difficult for somebody to marry the right person if you don't know what to do, except for that rely on Shomer Psoyim Hashem. Yeah. Shomer Psoyim Hashem. Hashem does the right thing. But, or young. That's a Pesi. And they tell, oh, it's a very, very good guy. So Pesi Yamin L'chol Davar. It's very difficult for mature people to find the right shidduch, because once you're mature, you have more seichel. this is terrible what I'm saying now. It's emes. So here's the point that you want to get the levushim have to be correct. The levushim have to be right. We have to dress appropriately. We have to put on tefillin appropriately. We have to go according to the minhag hamakom. We have to keep Shabbos. We have to keep kosher. Ein sheila, level 1, nefesh. That's nefesh. That's what we have to do. But we have to do that because we were evicted from Gan Eden. That's why we have to do that. We have to do that because we're part of Olam Haza, and that's the way Olam Haza works. That's the way it works. But there's another madrega of Beseder. I'm doing all that, but what are we? And here I believe you'll have a machlokes, if I may, between the Chayzim Lublin and the Gra. Because I think that in the Hasidic world, it's more common, it's more common to try to tap in at least, or even have somebody else tap into that Shorish HaNeshama and say, I think we have it. And I think in the Gra's world, I can be very, very careful with this because your taiva is biased. But I have an answer. I can make shalom between everybody in this. It's very simple. It could be that we ourselves, let me leave you with this thought for Purim. It could be that we ourselves, mi yoimar, who can say about themselves, she'ein beruchai shum doifi. Who could say that I'm not being swayed by what I really want to do? The not rationalizing my ruach or compromising my ruach, or as I said before, creating dissonance in my ruach because of what I really want to do. Look, I really want to live here, or I really want to make money, or I really want to marry this person. Do you know? Somebody told me something once, and I hate to say it, but I think it's got a lot of truth to it because it's a painful thing. But somebody told me that when people call for a shidduch, a lot of people put me down as a reference for their kids' shidduchim. You can do the same if you're, but the thing is, like, I'm honest, So, I'm just saying, it's but it just shows you how people deceive themselves, because people who I know they did terrible things, like they still put me down as a reference for a shidduch. Okay, so but somebody once said to me about on this topic of being a reference for a shidduch that he finds a rabbi told me this in Monsey. He said, Rabbi Breslauer, that's who told me this. He said, something? He said, it doesn't really make a difference what you say when people call you. I said, why is that? So he says, yeah, he says, you could have people call, and if they want that thing to go through, you can say things like, look, I have to tell you the truth, he's a drug addict. So you can't judge a person for being a drug addict. It happened with me. Like, I just want to tell you, just for transparency, the father has been in jail for 11 years. Was it white collar or blue collar? The people are hearing what they want to hear. On the other hand, if somebody for some reason is against the shidduch, and they're just calling because their wife was making them call or whatever it is. So you could call, this is the best guy in Lakewood. This is the most chashuv in the neshama. He's a genius. He's about midos. He's rich. Everything. Rich is nothing. But he's a good guy, knows how to learn. So what? There are apokarsim that know how to learn. Midos, flaky. You can touch everything this way. You can touch everything that way because you're starting with a premise, and now everything's going with this ruchai remiyah. But here's the thing. Here's the answer. I said the answer. The answer is that we can't possibly trust our own ruach hakodesh, but maybe you can trust somebody else's ruach hakodesh, or trust somebody else to see your ruach hakodesh, because that person, in other words, once you go to somebody outside of yourself. So then they don't have that problem. They can see things objectively. So I think, look, nobody hears a Navi. Ruach HaKodesh is hard to come by. You got to work on it. But it's much easier for somebody else than it is to have it yourself, because it's not all clouded up. Your own Ruach HaKodesh. Up. Almost anything you think about, should I or shouldn't I, whether it's getting married or getting divorced or taking this job, taking that job, moving here, moving there, it's clouded. It's all clouded. So let me tell you something, and tell me if you agree with me. I was invited to England to speak to the all the rabbis of the, what's it called, the Federation? Is that what it's called in England? Federation rabbis? Yeah, like 50, 60 rabbanim, chashuv rabbanim. And I spoke to them. I thought I was going to speak to them for 45 minutes. They said, no, this is 5 hours. Five hours. 5 hours, I don't know, like it's an English thing. 5 hours. The truth is, I couldn't cover what I wanted to say. And they listened, they listened, and they asked, and they talked. It was a big schus for me, because these people were much more chashuv than I was, many of them post-skim, and very, very chashuv people. But like an outsider, that was the point, an outsider. But I said to them as follows, I said, it took me a long time in the rabbinate to figure out what I'm not. Like I'm not a Navi, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a doctor, I'm not even that big of a Talmud Chacham. So why is this person coming and talking to me? Like what do I have to offer? But there people feel compelled to give sort of prophetic advice, or to give psychological advice, and even medical advice, or advice about things that they really don't know anything about. So, or not more than anybody else. So, okay, maybe you read a book, but not serious. It's not like you have a PhD in any of those things. So, what is what is the tachlis of coming and speaking to a Rav, let's say? The tachlis is very simple. Somebody can be objective. It's a very simple thing. Tell the truth. It's very painful for people to tell the truth. And if I'm in a position that I have to tell the truth, I tell people, look, do you want to hear the truth? Everybody says yes. I don't know why. They don't really mean it, but what are they supposed to say? They say yes. You might need to back this up with a therapist. So go to a therapist. I'm not a therapist. Don't come back here every Wednesday at 7 o'clock. I'm not a therapist. I don't know how to do that. I'm not a doctor. But I can tell you the truth. I can tell you what's going on, and it's very, very painful because people's minds are so, I'm not saying gaiva, but they're so traumatized, and they're so blurred and messed up in the things that they want to do and the things that they've done and decisions that they've made and different types of abuse that they've done or they've received, and all kinds of things that they don't see the MS. So sometimes the Ruach HaKodesh, and I believe this is possible, can come from another person. But I don't know, that's the person's Ruach HaKodesh and you're just seeing it, or it's the person who's talking Ruach HaKodesh, or just a chesed. I don't know. But the point is that what I want to end off by saying is that at the end of the day, you need to be mispalel to find your Shorish HaNeshama. Because without the Shorish HaNeshama, we're walking around like robots. It's like a suit. You know how they say in the corporate world, here comes a suit. There's a suit coming. There's nothing there. Here's another suit, just another suit, just another pretty face. It's not real. So the only way to be real, maybe Tefillah, Ruach HaKodesh, Navi, maybe Hashem will give us Nevi'im again, maybe he'll give us another Ger Rebbe, Lubavitch Rebbe, or something, I don't know what, but Chozim Lublin. But the thing is, what we can do, though, is work for the honesty. Because once we have the honesty, then, if we're 100% honest, then we could tap into that Ruach HaKodesh. You need help with that, go to somebody else. But it's all about cleaning out that pipe of the Ruach HaKodesh. And once you know what your Shorish HaNeshama is, it's gewalt. Wow, you're a man with a mission. You're going and you're doing. I want to say one thing. I think I might have said this a couple of weeks ago. Just if you don't mind, give me another second. But Mordechai said to Esther, go talk to Achashverosh. And she said, Lo Simken, let's speak to Achashverosh about helping the Jews, No, mi yodea im le'es kazos higatz l'malchus. Maybe this is your moment. Take it, do the moment. Don't, al tachrishi. This is not the time to be quiet. I think, subtle, but I think that we have the pshat completely wrong. It's not that Mordechai was telling Esther, this is your moment. Mi yodea im le'es kazos higat l'malchus. Mi yodea, we all know that's why she was the malchus. It's something else. Esther had, at this point in her life, the story might take 40 minutes to read. This was a lifetime thing. This took years to unfold. Esther became, somehow or another, she won beauty pageants. She was at the right place at the right time. And over a series of years, she became close to the Melech. She became a gvir. She was a wealthy person. She was, all of a sudden, she became the first lady. But this was her lifestyle. She was in a high corporate, political, wealthy society. And here's Mordechai, who was like the nudnik, and saying, can you get a donation? Maybe you could talk to him about breaking the Lo Simkeim. Well, this is not the way it works in the Beis HaMelech. You can't just go and talk about the Beis HaMelech, my personal needs, because I've got an Uncle Mordechai. This is not the way it works. But every Uncle Mordechai wants you to do that, right? You can just say a good word for me. Say a good word for your brothers and sisters, for the Jewish people. So Mordechai told her something, Esther, your whole life came to what it is. Not this moment. Your whole life came to what it is. Why did you win that beauty pageant 10 years ago? Why did you end up even applying for it? Why were you Shisha Chadoshim B'Shem and Hamor and Shisha Chadoshim B'Abasamim? Why are you in the Beis HaMelech? Why are you the fairest of them all? Why are you in this life? Why are you in the White House? And the answer is Le'is Hazais. Your whole tachlis of your whole life. Don't lose the purpose of your whole life. Hashem gave you a whole life. So I'm thinking to myself, like Hashem gave everybody a whole life. Some of it is wealth, some of it is poor, some of it is talent. We all have a thing, we all have a whole life. What you have to think of is, okay, this is the life, now what? So the Shurish HaNeshama is what's telling us where to direct that Cadillac that we've developed, and how to take it and where to go. Because otherwise, so it's the Shurish HaNeshama. So here's the bracha, here's the tefillah. I heard that on Purim there's a special skula to daven. I'll tell you where I saw this in the Barditchever, in the Kedushas Levi, I think on Purim, and there
for children. Kedushas Levi says for children. This is a gula, no?
To daven for children, he says, but also to daven to know your tachlis and to know your tachlis in life. I think the Kedushas Levi, if I'm not mistaken. So why? Because that's where Esther realized her tachlis and saved the whole Jewish people. She didn't know. She didn't know. That's the amazing thing. Mordechai had to tell her. She didn't know.
The came from him.
Yeah, I think.
She couldn't see it.
Yeah, except that the Gemara says that Esther Ruach HaKodesh Ha'isabay. Because the Gemara does say that. Okay, happy Purim. Thanks. Mir Hashem Sunday.